congregation of the whole of humanity, to ask you, oh Lord of hosts, to have mercy upon us. You must have mercy upon us. We have suffered enough. We have been subjugated enough. We have been tortured enough. We have been imprisoned enough. We did not do these people anything. Our only crime is to answer your name. Our only crime is to be born your children. Our only crime is to excel at everything that we place our hands into. Our only crime is to exhibit your glory and your blessing, which manifestedly is upon our lives every blessed day. That is why they want to kill us. That is why the British want to join those of them who don't know you, to destroy your creation and your inheritance. You will not allow shame to befall your name. You will not allow the enemies to triumph over the lives of your children, because you created us to exist, to worship, to honor, and to praise you. That is exactly what we are going to do when this Biafra comes. It will come in truth and in every honesty, because we remain every blessed day whiter than white and whiter than snow. Is there any way that we have sinned that you cannot forgive us our trespasses, to enable us to fulfill your own word, which was spoken thousands of years ago, that instead of what you promised not to come to pass, that heaven and earth will cease to exist? You opened your mouth to bless mankind to the coming of Yahweh Yeshua, who came here and said, let your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Those words can never be in vain, because they are anchored upon your holiness and your magnificence. That is why in the end we know that Biafra will come, that these children that we have given birth to all over the world, and their children, and their children, and their children, as long as they give birth to them and they are Biafrans, they will worship you in truth and honesty. Through this very work we are doing, mankind will come to understand you. Let your miracle be wrought in our lives. Let us witness and behold your magnificence, your holiness, your mystery, and your grace under our command. O Lord of hosts, we call upon you. We call upon you to heal. We call upon you to provide succor to those of them who are inconsolable. We ask you to come and strengthen those who are weak. We ask you to restore hope where there is hopelessness. We ask you for inclusion where there is destitution. We ask you for one brotherhood, one camaraderie, one bone, one blood, and one flesh of your children. The Efiks and the Bibios, the Izon, the Shekiri, the Isobos, and also those of them from Isoto. We are traveling all the way to the lands of Igala. We are moving on from there to Idoma, to Igede, to the territories of the Igbo land. All these places we dedicate unto thee. All these lands of yours, we ask you to cover it with your mercy, because Biafra will come, and when it does, we will dance on the streets. I'm telling you, by the time that we are done, humanity will think that we are mad, we are drunk in your glory, and rightfully so, because your kingdom will come to rest upon this very earth. That very kingdom is the unadulterated, non-negotiable sovereignty of the Republic of Biafra, that your will may be fulfilled in our time. All this we pray, all this we ask for, in no other name apart from that name that belongs to you. Ahadin sosine bigebi rone bigebi. He said.
Beloved homeland of
You must listen to her. Of course, you must go and listen to Simon Ekpa, who is doing a very fantastic job. Very great job that Simon Ekpa is doing. Very, very, absolutely fantastic job that he's doing. You must listen to him and share his videos accordingly. Very, very important. He is bringing a new dimension to this very awareness that we are making, and you must listen to him. Very, very important.
Good evening, fellow Biafrans. We are going to have 3 or 2 segments of our broadcast today. We have not started. Our broadcast is going to come in 2 segments. We are now in the first segment of this broadcast today because it is a special program. So it is going to be in 2 segments. The first one is what we are now. We're going to play a documentary video, and then after that we go into the exposition proper. So we're going to have this first segment, and then after that have 2-minute break. This is because we are coming online for the very first time, for a very long time, 7 p.m. Biafra time. Our normal program, as you all know, start, for example, 10 p.m. Biafra time and all that. So we come very early today because we have a very long program. And for that reason, we have the 2 segments of today's special broadcast. This particular segment is going to end in the next 20 minutes, and we're going to start the second segment. So because of that, I want to invite all of you to watch the video I'm about to play and digest it. Pay attention very well. You're welcome. And I want you to understand that the reason for this particular broadcast today is to expose how the Britain are using P2B to distract Biafra. Of course, we are already defeating them. And just that you know why we are always coming hard on P2B is what we are going to see today. Another exposition is the continual genocide of the British company and the Queen Elizabeth, the late Queen Elizabeth, the atrocities on our land, and that's what we are doing now. So I want you all to listen and pay attention to this. Invite other people that we are live today very early enough. Let us go there.
Biafran troops try a small assault on the enemy. The assault, a brief counterattack, a steady and bloody process of retreat. Lacking the armaments and tanks themselves, the Biafrans are reduced to elementary tank traps against the heavy armor of the enemy. The barricades are inadequate. The federal troops move on. As the refugees are driven from the battle areas, they have fewer places to hide. After Port Harcourt and Enugu had fallen, this town of Umaya became the Biafran capital. From Santa May, the former Portuguese prison island, 90 minutes flying time into the Atlantic, aid and arms are still going into Biafra. These flights have been the source of Biafra's strength. By daylight, only food and medical supplies are flown in from Santa May. In the past year, £15 million has been spent carrying aid this way to relieve suffering. But at night, according to the students, armaments are also flown into Biafra aboard planes loaded in Lisbon. Officials at Santa May deny this. The relief administrators are embarrassed by the charge that they are now prolonging the war.
Would you say that your relief has not only saved these lives, but made it possible for Biafra to carry on fighting its war?
I do not think so, because our relief program is for the civilian population only, especially our food goes to the children in the feeding centers in Biafra. Now, these children know nothing about political niceties. They know nothing about economic blockade or secession or independence or any of these ideas we hear expressed by adults and matured people.
We've noticed on our stay here that arms planes smuggle in on your routes at night. Does that worry you at all?
In fact, no ammunition plane leaves here. None whatever. I can testify and swear in the Bible that no ammunition plane whatever leaves this island and goes into Biafra.
They do refuel sometimes and go.
Empty ammunition planes come back here, refuel and go on to Lisbon. But these planes are empty, but certainly no ammunition plane as such with ammunition leaves this island, because the Portuguese authorities here in São Tomé do not in fact allow it to happen. And we have reservations therefore on this island for relief and relief only at present.
Yes, I'm slightly confused because I know that arms planes have left in my presence. And I've talked to the people who are ferrying them.
Well, I challenge you to show me at any time, and I will give you £50 on the spot if you can show me an ammunition plane loaded with ammunition leaving this island.
Each evening, the planes carrying food can make 3 flights apiece. If all 8 planes are in operation, that's 200 tons a day. An equal amount is flown in from Libreville by the Red Cross. With the enemy only 20 miles away, the refugee children are fed with their 1 meal a day, a high-protein meal of fish stock or cornmeal or soya bean and milk formulas. The terrible starvation of last autumn is now almost over, although the military situation has deteriorated. The aid came just in time. Even so, too late to save thousands of deaths from starvation. Here, the aid is distributed by a Catholic priest, elsewhere by Protestants.
I'm coming. I can be Ayaba. I can be Ayaba. Geneva. 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 Biko. Biko.
While the priests distributed food, nearby the English students found Biafran officials telling the children about the evils of Nigeria.
They are pursuing us, killing us. They are killing our parents, our brothers, our fathers, and even ourselves. Most of our parents are shot in the farm. Our homes are destroyed. Houses are burnt. Parent women are also murdered. Even children.
Even the children, it seems, must be told that Biafrans must fight or be massacred. The Nigerians have given some cause for the fear of massacre by bombing marketplaces like Umaya, where scores of civilians were killed. For the Biafrans behind the lines, these attacks are proof of their leaders' claim that Nigerian policy is indeed genocide.
We are Biafrans, we are Biafrans, we can never, never be Nigerians, ever Biafran, never Nigeria. Oh Biafra, our homeland, oh Biafra, our homeland.
In the last days of Umaya, the enemy advanced on the capital. A patriotic rally was organized for the benefit of the visiting students. All this audience have now fled the town.
Come closer, everybody. Now sing the song with me. The rising sun, Biafra, the rising sun, everywhere. The rising sun, Biafra, the rising sun. I know.
The display was a very effective piece of political propaganda. Can it now be more than whistling in the dark?
Move on, Biafrans, move on, Biafrans. This is your moving day. Move a little closer for the war is ending. Move on, Biafrans, move on.
The exuberance of this rally, almost in sight of the enemy guns, was matched by the optimism of the Commissioner for Information.
How are you getting your arms?
We buy our arms from the black market, wherever it's available, but we can't tell you how we get our money.
Why not? Why not?
Well, we're a nation at war. If we tell you how we get our resources for fighting the war, it is quite easy for those who don't like it.
But this would seem to imply that there is a major power in Biafra.
Yeah. I don't think your statement follows from my own statement. There are no relationship.
Well,
unless you want to say that money only comes from powers, then you're right to say, to conclude that because we have money, then the money must come from a big power.
Are we right to conclude that the Biafran economy as it now stands is incapable on its own of maintaining the war effort?
I think you're very wrong to conclude, because I haven't told you how the money comes.
Biafra has great oil reserves, is a rich prize. As the war rages, the Biafrans have shown great ingenuity with small oil refineries in the bush, which produce petrol for the war effort.
How good is your petrol?
Very good.
Yeah? How many octane have you got?
About 55.
That's low by our standards. What
Very
about
low
your
by our
cars? Are they all right?
It's not making any difference to our cars. Not now. We haven't noticed any.
Yet much of the transport is out of action a lot of the time.
The drum here is a 90-gallon drum in which we have about 70 gallons of crude oil. This, as you see, boils, and it comes out through what we call heat exchanger. The vapors come out from the heat exchanger, and through the heat exchanger moves on into the pipes until we have at the effluent at the very end there. Are you all right? Shall I introduce one of, please, if you don't mind? That's it. You better move.
One of the small refineries exploded while the students were there, but no one was hurt. The remarkable Biafran effort to be self-sustaining will become more difficult as the territory diminishes. At the beginning of this week, the citizens of Amaya began to abandon the town, frightened of massacre. The Nigerians were already on the outskirts. The more prosperous refugees drove away by car. The rest walked.
I don't even know where to run. I have no idea. I have no idea which direction to go. My hometown is behind the enemy line now. I have nowhere to go.
Are you taking all your things with you?
I can't carry all my things, so I'm just picking a few of my things.
What do the people generally feel?
Everybody is so depressed. Nobody has idea. Almost about 3/4 of the girls have nowhere to go. We are just going to any direction.
Yesterday, the Nigerians marched in. The capital had fallen. In a country now only 20 miles by 40, there is nowhere much to drive, and little guarantee of security when you get there. For the sick and the crippled, desperately getting away from the front, there is no consolation. From the no-man's land and the front lines, children are brought in starving.
A few nurses who are helping us, but we're also very short of drugs.
So they couldn't survive with you?
Some of them may. It's amazing. We have cases also of children that were restored practically fully to health, and then suddenly they died, because kwashiorkor and marasmus has the effect of weakening the heart, and sometimes they die of heart failure. When you think that they're running around and in good form again, they suddenly collapse and die.
What has your death rate been here recently?
Father Wallace, would you say the death rate was here recently in this camp?
I suppose about 4 or 5 to 6 in the month.
4 or 5 in the week?
4 to 6, an average of 6 in the month.
In the month, which is very low, considerably. And of course the Igbos are convinced that they're going to be massacred.
How long will the fear of genocide keep the Biafran troops in the firing line? The English students joined in an action with a platoon of Biafran infantry. Relief food does not officially feed the troops, but like soldiers everywhere, they have their means. Their arms come from many countries, but these bullets and mortar are French, and it seems now that the French will withdraw their support from the Biafran cause. If Biafra is going to fight on, then its troops will have to rely even more heavily on British or Russian arms captured from the federal Nigerian forces.
These are captured enemy weapons. You can see a lot of them. Captured one. And this is enemy captured regular British made.
Russian made rifles.
Which ones?
Yeah, this one.
In this action, the Biafrans were hoping to push the Nigerians back along the road to Port Harcourt. In the previous few days, they'd had some successes in skirmishes and killed several Nigerians. But on this day, the Biafrans soon discovered Nigerians had outflanked them, and they had to retreat in the enemy armored cars. This is now the pattern of the war. The Biafran determination to fight, although retreating, does not seem to diminish. Their faith remains as strong as ever.
For God, to whom vengeance belongs, show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth, and reward a reward to the proud Nigerians. Lord, how long shall the wicked Nigerians have?
With the troops to sustain their faith was one of their own preachers. In his biblical texts, the evil are always Nigerian, the good Biafran.
They broke in pieces, and they, people of the Lord, afflict their heritage, display the widow and stranger and murder the fatherless.
Excuse me.
Yet they say,
can I ask the troops, do you believe in the spiritual walls?
Well, on the behalf of my soldiers, my troops, in fact, we believe in them. We believe in God. God does everything.
Fighting a just cause, we believe God will help us. Result, whatever that comes out of God's will, we take.
Including defeat, if it comes?
No,
Well,
we can.
no.
I don't think God will allow us to be defeated.
All right, you have just listened to that documentary, first segment of this broadcast today. We are going to bring to you another video, and then after that, we'll go on a break, and then we'll come back again in the next 10-20 minutes for the main exposition of how P2B, how Britain is using P2B, how Britain committed genocide against Biafra, and how the genocide has continued. They have continued to commit this genocide against us, and why it is very imperative that next year we are going to give Nigeria hell. We are ready to give Nigeria hell for our Biafra, for our freedom to come. For us to secure the future of our children, our women, and our unborn children, we will give Nigeria hell by next year. I do not know why the video is not clear, but we are going to look into that. So we're going to listen to a feedback from where some people gathered yesterday in the United Kingdom. I want you to understand that we are just starting. I get in Nigeria for Nigeria case Bolo. I want you all to listen and watch this. Very important.
So ahụrụ m ihe na-ahịa ọnụ here. 2 weeks ago, in my IPOB meeting here, I had wanted to leave, but the secretary asị m mba na m afụla m bịachite ihe ahụ ekwuru mgbe ahụ sị ọ dịkwa mma ka mmadụ nọrọ with ndị iro ya na-amatakwa their plans. So I stayed back. So the leader akpọ m last week na a na-aga Leicester today na m ga-abịa m si ya ewela iwe na aka m juru eju na m agaghị aga. So the secretary and one other sister so ha ga the meeting today. So achọrọ m inye gị feedback from the war front, what happened, because they came back and she called me na akọrọ m ihe mere. Ọ sị that autopilot, they were saying autopilot should be strong, even stronger now than ever. No, autopilot nwere the majority. Now, even though ha niile gather na hall there listening to the nonsense, this girl was vomiting. See ya wo nwunye onye ndu. Now the whole hall there were murmuring. Nga ahụ ha nọkwa that they were all murmuring. Na say what nonsense ka nwaanyị a na-akọ na ihe ekwekpọ ha. Na echekwa ma ihe ekwekpọ ha because everybody ma that Chinasa Nworu na nda aha nwanne ya nwoke DOS na ha wee flop. Na everybody ma that they've all failed. Na ha chekwa na akpọrọ ha meeting ka mara way forward, how they can manage to patch IPOB gawa forward until onye ndu afụta. Nwaanyị abịa na-akọ nonsense juru ya ọnụ that people were murmuring no nweghị onye did in support of the woman there. Even mgbe ya gara toilet ịnyụ mamịrị, people were voicing out say no nonsense a ka ekwekpọ ha. Now what is this nonsense nwaanyị a na-ekwu? Na Ekpa is the only way forward now. Onye ahụrụ na-eme ihe a na-ahụ anya, nwaanyị ọbịa na-akọ nonsense. Na eche ma kpọrọ ha here ka abịa mara if there will onwe otu esi emekwata dịdị IPOB nwe emekwata ọbịa na-akọ nonsense a. So that autopilot na everybody kwụ Ekpa n'ukwu. In fact, na m ga-ahụ dị na ihe a merenu na nwaanyị a na ihe a ga-awụ even ọ ga-backfire. It will backfire seriously because people are not on their side. So no ya ihe o ji na-awụ ọnụ ahụ ilekwa na onwe mgbe ọ sị that these people don't even have majority, that they don't have it. No opposite ka nwaanyị a na-ekwu. So that they were highly disappointed. Ha one day IPOB nwa that they were highly disappointed at the woman. So that everybody was saying it there, even at the meeting ground there, that Ekpa is the only way forward. So my sister him say kam make mara that Onya Solangongo is just that in fact this is another talk altogether. All right, my darling. Bye.
We are going to start very soon, though. I am telling you, we are starting the program in a few minutes. After this video I'm about to play now, we go on commercial, and we are gonna be back for the evening exposition where everything gonna. I hope all of you are watching. So we are going to come back. The next video that is coming after that video, we are going to come back and continue from there. So I want you all to listen to this.
This mic without saying to Britain and everybody else who can, we do not mourn the death of a colonizer and who came and killed our people, and she's wearing proudly a stolen goods on her head. We have nothing to do with the queen. Lele bolailemba tubarena ba utswa di minerale tsa mo Africa, ba utswa di minerale all over Africa. Today people treat, hey we mourn the queen. But when Helen Zille tweeted and said not everything is bad about colonialism, you all said Helen Zille is a racist. She praised colonialism, mourning and praising the queen who are celebrating colonialism. You are not different from Helen Zille. We were not colonized by the land called Britain. We were colonized by the leadership of Britain that killed our people. So we must not be asked to do wrong things here. We are very clear. The queen does not represent anything good. Britain has got a lot of gold, yet they don't have a single mine of gold. Those are stolen goods. We must talk about reparation. We must talk about the return of the gold. We must talk about the return of the stolen diamond, and not these other side issues which are not important to us. How can you be oppressed for so many years? Liberation, you have thing to show that we have liberated. You have no land, you have got land.
All right. This is to inform you all that now we are going on a break, and after this break, we will come back for the evening exposition. Our exposition today is that for some of you who do not understand why P2B went to United Kingdom and came back and started to distract us, we are going to expose that. We are going to also expose the atrocities, some of the atrocities of the Queen of England and the Britain in conjunction with Nigeria against Biafra people. We are going to see that exposition today. But above all, we are going to expose what, when we say P2B is being used, when we say P2B is only, to distract Biafra, when we say P2B is just sabotaging the Biafra movement, some of you don't know why we say that. So today we are going to expose how P2B is being used by the Britain, how P2B, what exactly is P2B doing. That's why we say P2B is not running for any election. So this is 2155. This is where I am now. So let's say this is 7:55 in Biafra land. Is 7:55 p.m. in Biafra land, and you can all see. Do you see the sign of this? Is this telling you anything? Is this telling you anything? Is this telling you anything? We are ready to go, my people. Nothing is going to stop Biafra. Our madness will start very soon. May God bless you. See you in the next 30 minutes. We are going to be back here in the next 30 minutes. See you, and do not miss our program today.
So I'm gonna meet here here. 2 weeks ago, in my IPOB meeting here, I had wanted to leave, but the secretary said, "Mamba, na ma hụla m bịachite ihe ahụ kwuru mgbe ahụ sị ọ dịkwa mma ka mmadụ nọ with ndị iro ya na-amatakwa their plans." So I stayed back. So the leader bomb last week na na-aga Leicester today. Na m ga-abịa m si eweli iwe na aka m juru eju na m agaghị aga. So the secretary and one other sister so ha ga the meeting today. So actually m inye gị feedback from the war front, what happened, because they came back and she called me na akọrọ m ihe mere. Ọ sị that autopilot, they were saying autopilot should be strong, even stronger now than ever. No, autopilot nwere the majority. Now, even though ha niile gadara na hall there listening to the nonsense this girl was vomiting, say ya wo nwunye onye ndu. Now the whole hall there were murmuring. Ngaho ha nọkwa that they were all murmuring. Na say what nonsense ka nwaanyị a na-akọ na ihe ekwekpọ ha. Na echekwa ma ihe ekwekpọ ha because everybody ma that Chinasa Nworu na nda aha nwanne ya nwoke DOS na ha wee flop. Na everybody ma that they've all failed. Na ha chekwa na akpọrọ ha meeting ka amara way forward, how they can manage to patch IPOB gawa forward until onye ndu afụta. Nwaanyị abịa na-akọ nonsense juru ya ọnụ that people were murmuring no nweghị onye did in support of the woman there. Even na mgbe ya gara toilet enyu mamịrị, people were voicing out, say no nonsense a ka ekwekpọ ha. Now what is this nonsense nwaanyị a na-ekwu? Na Ekpa is the only way forward now. Onye ahụrụ na-eme ihe a na-ahụ anya, nwaanyị ọbịa na-akọ nonsense. Na eche ma kpọrọ ha here ka abịa mara if there will onwe otu esi emekwata dịdị IPOB nwe emekwata, ọbịa na-akọ nonsense a. So that autopilot na everybody kwụ Ekpa n'ukwu. In fact, na m ga-ahụ dị na ihe a merenu na nwaanyị a na ihe a ga-would even ọ ga-backfire. It will backfire seriously because people are not on their side. So no ya we hold you now on that these people don't even have majority, that they don't have it. No opposite. No, so that they were highly disappointed. How one day IPOB that they were highly disappointed at the woman. So that everybody was saying it there, even at the meeting ground there, that Ekpa is the only way forward. So my sister him say make a mara that Onya Solangongo is just that in fact this is another talk altogether. All right, my darling. Bye.
I'm asking a very pertinent question. Is Nigeria working for you? Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired, knew the solutions to Boko Haram till he finally became president. He asked ex-President Jonathan to resign because of insecurity. He cried empathetically. He promised to end Boko Haram in 3 months. But now, he's telling us he's done his best to arm the military. Why isn't he resigning? Governor Fashola knew the solutions to providing stable power supply till he became Minister of Power, and darkness pervaded the land. After trying hard and giving excuses like he only plays a supervisory role, the ministry was assigned to someone else. Power grid, still they collapse. The NSAS protests were tagged insurrection. In fact, someone said Aisha Yusufu ought to be in jail for instigating violence. Then farmers were beheaded in Borno. Same person asked Aisha Yusufu to lead a protest. Aren't these people supposed to forbid hypocrisy? Is Nigeria working for any Nigerian today? From leaders hoarding food for the poor, receiving kickbacks from government contracts, to farmers needing permission to go to their farms. Is Nigeria working for you? Why is Zamfara's gold for Zamfara and Niger Delta oil for Nigeria? Why is Hisba destroying alcohol, but their state governments receive federal allocation from monies received via taxation, including tax on alcoholic beverages? Why are some federal roads abandoned to bandits and kidnappers? Who is in charge of Nigeria's security? The president is talking tough this time. Most times, he's as shocked by the rest of us by the absence of good governance under him. Regardless of his campaign promises and the manifesto of his political party, Nigeria has rolled back in terms of development. From Naira continually losing its value to our recently launched locomotive trains breaking down in the middle of nowhere. Nigeria has to be working for some people though. The government can do no wrong. To this set of people, their money isn't being stolen, even if the money is being borrowed, leaving debts for their own children to pay in future. Even if the leaders don't use public institutions, from sending their children to Ivy League schools abroad to getting medical treatment abroad, some people who have nothing and we need to donate money for their medical bills if they have a serious ailment, continue to hail the obvious lack of good governance till Nigeria happens to them. Then they get a little pissed. May Nigeria never happen to you. Say amen. We deserve better than the political class who go home with millions monthly to represent people who can't even afford to feed themselves. I am Olajumoke Alaode James. Nigeria is not working for me. Is Nigeria working for you?
So I'm here. 2 weeks ago, in my IPOB meeting here, I had wanted to leave, but the secretary said, "Mumba, na ma fụla mbịachite ihe ahụ ikwuru mgbe ahụ sị ọ dịkwa mma ka mmadụ nọrọ with ndị nro ya na-amatakwa their plans." So I stayed back. So the leader bomb last week na na-aga Leicester today na m ga-abịa si ya ewele iwe na aka m juru eju na m agaghị aga. So the secretary and one other sister so ha ga the meeting today. So actually m give feedback from the war front what happened, because they came back and she called me na akọrọ m ihe mere. Ọ sị that autopilot, they were saying autopilot should be strong, even stronger now than ever. No, autopilot nwere the majority. Now, even though ha niile gadara na hall there listening to the nonsense, this girl was vomiting. See ya wo nwunye onye ndu. Now the whole hall there were murmuring. Nga ha nọkwa that they were all murmuring. Now say what nonsense ka nwaanyị a na-akọ na ihe ekwekpọ ha. Na echekwa ma ihe ekwekpọ ha because everybody ma that Chinasa Nworu na nda aha nwanne ya nwoke DOS na ha wee flop. Na everybody ma that they've all failed. Na ha chekwa na akpọrọ ha meeting ka mara way forward, how they can manage to patch IPOB gawa forward until onye ndu afụta nwaanyị abịa na-akọ nonsense juru ya ọnụ that people were murmuring no nweghị onye did in support of the woman there. Even na mgbe ya gara toilet ịnyụ mamịrị, people were voicing out say no nonsense a ka ekwe kpọọ ha, that what is this nonsense nwaanyị a na-ekwu na Ekpa is the only way forward now. Onye ahụrụ na-eme ihe a na-ahụ anya, nwaanyị ọbịa na-akọ nonsense na eche ma kpọrọ ha here ka abịa mara if there will onwe otu esi emekwata dịdịn IPOB nwe emekwata, ọbịa na-akọ nonsense a, so that autopilot na everybody kwụ Ekpa n'ukwu. In fact, na m ga-ahụ dị na ihe a merenu na nwaanyị a na ihe a ga-awụ even ọ ga-backfire. It will backfire seriously because people are not on their side. So no ya ihe o ji na-aghụ ọnụ ahụ ilekwa na onwe mgbe ọ sị that these people don't even have majority, that they don't have it. No opposite ka nwaanyị a na-ekwu. So that they were highly disappointed. Ha one day IPOB nwa that they were highly disappointed at the woman. So that everybody was saying it there, even at the meeting ground there, that Ekpa is the only way forward. So my sister him say kam make mara that Onya Solangongo is just that in fact this is another talk altogether. All right, my darling. Bye.
All right, see you in the next 30 minutes. And why I am playing this feedback from the meeting event is that when we want you, even your wife, we send us your audio and the evidence we are going to use. When the time comes, your children will send us evidence. It is just the spirit of Biafra working, and it will continue to work until we restore Biafra. This is to tell you that the people you saw gathering are all autopilot. The people you saw in the meeting place were all autopilot. They just came there, they went there to know what was happening, and they were all disappointed. So when the people you saw there, they were all autopilot, and that is what I want to bring in for you to understand that we are focusing, our eyes is on the ball, and we're not slacking back an inch. In the next few days, Nigeria will begin to feel the power of Biafra. Go and mark it. See you after 30 minutes.